Alright, welcome to Chaka Quantics. Now in this video I will be showing us how to prepare rate analysis for concrete works. Alright, and in the last video we talked about excavation works, excavation, filling and disposal, earthwork support, anti-termite and the likes. So in this video, which is the part 2 of how to prepare rate analysis like a pro, we'll be looking at concrete works. All right, and we'll be looking at concrete 1:2:4. Whatever is applicable here is applicable to other grades of concrete. Now remember, we said every rate analysis has 3 basic components. We have the material, we have the labor, we have the profit and overhead. And areas where you use machineries, you include equipment also. All right, let's go straight. We have concrete 1:2:4. Now the first is, let us decipher the materials, right? Then before we come into the analysis proper, preparing the rates proper. All right, let's see this analysis. We have concrete 1:2:4. Now firstly, of course, we take the sum of the ratio, which is this 1 + 2 + 4. That gives us 7. All right, now this is concrete. It is concrete, wet mixed concrete. All right, now what if before water was added, right? Before water was added, that is the dry mixed concrete, which is usually 40 to 54% of the wet mix, between 40 to 54% whatever of the wet mix. So basically, if of course this is 100%, now 40% is 0.4, that is 40 over 100. Then if I add both of them together, I have 1.4. All right, so this is what I will use. This dry mix is what I will use to get the number of bags and the fine aggregate and then the coarse aggregate. Let me use that so that I don't be using sand and gravel. All right, fine aggregate and coarse aggregate. Now see, I just gave a little formula here, right? For cement, it will be ratio of cement over total ratio times the dry mix. Right, that's what we just did here. Ratio of cement over total ratio times the dry mix. I'll try as much as I can to be a little bit fast. All right, now you see what I have. You have 5.76. Let me apply this quickly on that. So this is and the ratio of cement is 1, the total ratio is 7. All right, times the dry mix volume, which is 1.4. Are we saying that? We have this. Now in a volume of cement, in 1 meter cube of cement, we have 28.8 bags. All right, so this becomes 0.2 times 28.8. so we have 5.7. That is why you see in 1:2:4 we say we have 6 bags. All right, now if you add waste 5%, you're having 6 bags, right? So depending on whichever you want to do, 5.76 bags, 6 bags, 5.7, 5.76 bags, whichever you want to use to prepare your analysis. The same thing happens for concrete. This is the dry mix, 1.4 cubic meter, of course multiplied by ratio of cement sand, right? Course the fine aggregate rather is 2, then 7, and this is the volume of the truck, right? 3.8. That's a 5-ton tipper. The same thing goes for sand. Now, of course, for fine coarse aggregate. Coarse aggregate is usually 2 times. That's why you have 1:2:4, twice the fine aggregate. That is why I just multiply by 2. Here, see it here. 2 times this gives us that. All right, okay. Now a bag of cement goes for 8,500. Now fine aggregate, that's sharp sand, goes for 272 at 100. This is for 30 tons, right? So 1 ton divided by 30, we get 9070. The same thing goes for granite, 30 ton, 510. All right, for 1 ton it is this. Then we have foiling per day, for mixer to mix the cement, 7,000 naira. Now this will come here for the rate. Now cement, of course, 5.76 at 8,500. Material, now remember I said we have material, labor, profit and overhead, then equipment as the case maybe. Now we have sand, of course, that's what we calculated, 0.52 tons, right? 0.52 tons at 9,070 per ton. That gives us this. And the same thing with aggregate, 1.05, twice the fine aggregate at 17,000 naira, which is this. All right, so this gives us this. So we add for transportation, which is 5%, then that gives us this. Then add for waste, 2%, and that person might use waste 3%, might use waste 5%. All right, so we have that. So this is the cost for material. This is the material. All right, now let's go. Equipment, because we're going to use a concrete mixer to do the mixing. We have concrete mixer, and we have of course the vibrator that will be used to vibrate the concrete so that there will be no honeycombs. Then you have the fueling. All right, concrete mixer goes for 30,000. Also the poker vibrator. All right, then we have the fueling, which is 7,000 naira per day. So that is how I arrive at this 67,000 naira. Now of course you will need to use barrow or shovel headband to transport this concrete to where you are going to place them. 4,000 naira. Now output per day is 15 cubic meter. All right, an average of 15 cubic meter if you are using a concrete mixer. All right, so this is it here. This is it. So now for 1 cubic meter divided by 15. All right, so that is the equipment. Now the labor requirement for placing. All right, so we have the mixer, the person mixing, the operator mixing, operating the mixer. We have the person operating the poker vibrator, and we have the masons. That's masons, the guys that that tells the laborers where they are going to place so that they can tap. All right, and we have the laborers themselves. So we have one operator, one poker operator, two masons, then 20 general labors. Now we did analysis here. If you look at this table here, same thing we had last week. Now we said that the mixer operator 7,500 per day, and the poker vibrator 7,000 naira per day. Please, I am in Lagos. Do what is applicable in your area. Two masons at 7,500 per day, 7,500, and 20 labors at 3,500. 3,500 times 20. All right, that's how we go. 99,500. That's what you see here. All right. So this is it. So per cubic meter, we'll be having the labor component is 6,633 naira 33 kobo. If I sum all the material up, material, labor, equipment, that gives us 88,016 naira 98 kobo. Then I add withholding tax of 2.5%, and I add profit and overhead of 22.5%. All right, so this is basically what we have. Now if your firm is doing profit and overhead, remember that profit and overhead is a function of the company's overhead. Another company might be running his company for 10% profit and overhead. Another person might be using 15% profit and overhead. So it depends on what is applicable with your company. So basically that is how you prepare the rate analysis for concrete works. The same thing if the concrete is 1:3:6 or 1:1.5:3. It is the same method, the same process. All right, now we'll go quickly to reinforcement. Reinforcement, we have, it could be TMT, it could be local, because their prices are different. Now reinforcement per ton 1,250,000 now, because it's quite expensive now. Transportation, which is 10,000 per ton, that gives us 1,260,000 50,000. And of course we'll be needing binding wires for the work. So 13 kg roll binding wire is needed per ton, and the cost per roll is depending on the weight. That's what I just put there. Right, so binding wire 20 kg roll is 26,500, right, at 1,325, and per ton will be needing 13 kg. All right, binding wire is 18 kg roll is sold for this particular amount. I'll be needing concrete spacers also. Concrete spacers is what we call biscuit, basically what we use to create covers in concrete. Of course, spacers will be needing to it is 250 per one, and labor cost per ton for reinforcement is 50,000 naira. This is Lagos price, please take note. All right, now reinforcement bars, 1 ton is 1,260,000, which is what I have here. Add cutting waste 5%, 5% of cutting waste, that gives me 63,000. If I add, I have this. Then binding wire 13 kg. All right, we already know the cost per ton for this 20 kg roll, which is 1,325. all right, that is what we have. 13 kg per ton times this, we have that. Now I add cutting waste also 5% of this, that gives me, all right, that. Now we needing spacers also. All right, so cost of spacers is 250 like we established here, and we'll be needing 50 spacers per ton, 50 per ton. All right, we'll be needing 50 per ton. This is this. All right, so that gives me this 50 times 250, that gives me 12,500. So cost of material per ton is this. That's the cost of the reinforcement, the cost of this binding wire, and the cost of the spacer. So labor requirement per ton for reinforcement is 50,000 naira, per kg is 50 naira per kg. So if I add summary of material labor is this. All right, that gives me 1,403,586 naira 25 kobo. If I add withholding tax of 2.5%, if I add profit and overhead of 22.5%, I'll be having 1,762,377 naira 99 kobo per ton. Right, if I divide by 1,000, right, I'll get it in kg. So this is the cost per kg. This is basically how you prepare the rate analysis for reinforcement works. Now this one talks about if it is a local one. Local is 1,005,000. If I add transportation, it is 1,015,000. And the same thing is the same thing. The same thing that happened here is the same thing that happens here also, just that the prices are different. Then is there any other thing different? This is the profit and overhead. Let me have it in this form. All right, so quickly we'll go to Formwork. We go to Formwork now. In Formwork, we can either use plank or we use a marine board. Right, planks or marine boards. We'll be looking at two of them when we use plank and when we use marine board. All right, now let's see. If we're using plank, let's say we're working on a slab, and the slab is 10 by 14. That's what we'll have here, 10 by 14. Right, so you have the slab, you have your marine board that will go over the slab, then you have use either 2 by 4 or 2 by 3 or 3 by 4, whatever you want to use, 2 by 3 to run to support the marine board. I'm using my hand to demonstrate and you cannot see it. To support the marine board horizontally, that's it goes both ways, or is both, which one is vertical, which one is horizontal now? Okay, it goes horizontal on the board. Right, then you now use your bamboo to hold those you call them stringer and joist. Use your bamboo to support them, to support the slab, so that if you're pouring the concrete, it does not open up. All right, so that see this sheeting is the plank. All right, then the stringer are those stringer and the joist are those woods used to support the plank. Then the shoring is the bamboo. All right, so we have a floor 140 square meter, that's 10 by 14. Of course, the standard length of a wood is 3.6 meters. That is what I have here. Now planks are basically 1 by 12 planks, and they come, that's what you see if you go to the sum, say 1 by 12. All right, that's 1 foot by 12 feet. 1 foot is 300 mm, 12 feet is 3.6 meters. That's 300 by 3.6. all right, I hope we get that. All right, so the total coverage area is 1.08. now for me to know how many planks I'll be needing, just for me to divide the total area by the coverage. So 140 divided by 1.08, I have 130. all right, now we have the wood that will support the plank. Before you now use your bamboo to support them vertically, we have the stringer with the longer side, the stringer, right? That's 14 meters. It will be running towards 10 meters. It will be running towards 10 meters. Why the 10 meters will be running towards the 14 meters? That's why I'm using 10 meters here to divide it. So 10 divided by 0.6, because they are 0.6 meters center to center, plus 1, I have 18 of them. Then for me to know the total length of the stringers, this is 14, all right, times 18. That gives us 252. all right. Then for us to know the number of wood, also this is 252 divided by 3.6, which is the length of one wood. So we have 70 numbers. all right, this is 14 and 18. So for the shorter length, I will do the same thing also. It runs towards the 14 meter length side. So this is 14 divided by 0.6 plus 1, that gives me 24. And total length will be 10 times 24. all right, then the number of wood will be 240 divided by 3.6, that gives me 67. And the bamboo, for the bamboo, average length of bamboo is 6 meters, and in a truck we have 200 pieces load. One load of bamboo is 200 pieces. all right, so how many are we going to have? How many bamboos, right, are we going to have? Now this is how it is analyzed. I have this is 18 times 24. This is what I have here, right, for calculating the number of lines that you are going to have. You have 18 by 24, so this is 432. Now assuming we have the headroom is 3 meters, it is 3 meter high, right, times 3 meter, I have 1296. Now a bamboo, another bamboo is 6 meter. all right, so if I divide this by 6, I'll be having 216. So it's already more than a load, because one load is 200 pieces, 200 numbers. 200 numbers make a load. 200 lengths of bamboo of 206 meter length of bamboo make a load. all right, so this is already 216 numbers. all right, so it's more than a load, so we say approximately 2 loads, because you are still going to, it is the number of 4 you are going to use to carry 200 pieces. You're going to use to carry 16 pieces or 10 pieces or 50 pieces, or except there's another means you want to bring them to your site. So we take it for 2 loads. all right, nails 0.25 kg, right, by 140, that gives us 35 kg by the total number of the slab, the total area of the slab rather. So 0.25 kg, so that gives us 35 kg. all right, so this is the summary. Plank is 130 pieces, 2 by 3 is 70 plus 67, that gives us 137. and this is what we have here. You see that? all right, the bamboo, we say we need 2 loads. The nail, we need 35 kg. all right, now one plank 1 by 12 is 2950. The support 2 by 3 is 1550. Then a load of bamboo is 310,000. nails, 22.5 kg bag is sold at this, right, so that for 1 kg we'll be having 1267. but remember we require 35 kg, so when we come we will see. all right, so this is what we have here. This is the bamboo now, the plank, 130 numbers times 2950. I have this. Then the hardwood for crossing support, I have what are the 7 numbers at 1550, which is this. Bamboo, we said 2 loads, that gives us this. Then nails, 35 kg at 1267.56 per kg, that gives us this. So if I sum everything together, is what I'm going to have now. But if you, before you put a plank, right, you need to add oil, right? When you add, if you don't add oil, you begin to see marks. You begin to see marks, right? Or need to add it to be difficult to remove. The plank will also be difficult to remove from the concrete, so we need to add oil for mold. Let's say 2%. All right, so if we do that, this is what we are going to have. Then we add waste, but definitely you're going to be having waste, say 10%. All right, so this gives me that. So I have the total to be this. Now, planks can be used more than once, but not more than twice, because it is plank. Before you know, it begins to warp, begins to get bad, it tears easily. That is why for a better work you use marine board. So this, if we assume 2 uses, right, all I have to do is to divide this function by 2. That gives me 706,980.3 if I divide by 2. Of course, this is for 140 square meter. 140 square meter. If I do it per square meter, I divide by 140. Right, divide by 140. You see it here. To get it per square meter, 5,049.86 kobo per square meter. Then the labor requirement, and labor output for cutting, installation, and dismantling is 5 square meter per day, right? And man day for since we have 140 square meter, 140 square meter divided by 5, so we have a total of 28 days at 7,500. Right, at 7,500 per day, because carpenters are skilled artisans. So this is what I have here. 28 times 7,500, I'll be 210,000. All right. Then labor cost per square meter, this is what I have. I divide by 140. All right, now summary of material, labor, and equipment, so to say. This is all right. This is what I have here. Here is it. This is material, and this is labor. All right. So if I sum everything up, I have 916,980 naira 30 kobo. Well, this is for 140 square meters. If I divide by 140, I have it per square meter, which is 6,549 naira 86 kobo. I had withholding tax 2.5%, and I add profit and over 22.5%. I have 8,224.17 per square meters. Now for marine board, the same thing. Okay, now this example here, I use 120 square meters, right? That's 10 by 12. Here we used 14 by 10, 10 by 14. We are down 10 by 14, which is this, but here we're using 10 by 12, right? But the same process applies. All right, the same thing. Sheeting is marine board now. Now we have the stringer, we have the joist, we have the bamboo. Also the same thing we did in the previous, same thing applies. A marine board is 1.2 by 2.4, so the total coverage in square meter is 2.88. 1.2 times 2.4, that's 2.88. For me to know how many pieces of marine board I'm going to need for a 120 square meter, it is 120 divided by 2.80, that is 42 pieces. Now of course I cannot just put only this here, there need to be something to support it. That's where the stringer and the joist comes in. All right, like I said, the 12 meter length is the longer than the stringer. It goes it runs towards the 10 meter length, while that of the 10 meter length runs towards the 12 meter length. That is why you see it is divided by 10. This is 12 meter now, but 10 divided by 0.6 plus 1, that gives us 18. And if you come here, it is 12 divided by 0.6, that gives us 21 lines. Now you see we get that. Now the same thing here, same thing we did in the plank, in this analysis here, is the same thing we also do here. Now with that, got in marine board is 28,500. Of course, why that one was cheaper. Plank remains the same, bamboo remains the same 22 kg bag for 25,520. Now we're having 1,01342. All right, let me match it here. Okay, this is 28.50. all right, and the price is 28.520. this is 28.5, the price 20. all right, so this is what we have. all right, and the process remains the same. 42 numbers gives us this. Hardwood, just the same. The only difference is that this is a marine board and that is plank, but the same process applies to arrive at where I use, see I use 1% here, but that one, because it's a plank, it is 2% for the mold. At waste, I arrived at this. Now of course I'm just being fast here because I already did everything in the first. I already showed the process here, right, step by step, and they are basically the same thing. So at the end of the day, for marine board, you have 11,424. all right, let me do this here so that you can see it very clearly. all right, okay, so basically this is how you prepare rate analysis for concrete works, for any class of concrete, for formwork, any type of formwork, for reinforcement, for any type of reinforcement. all right, I hope this video adds value to you, and I hope it is not as long as other videos, because I don't want it to be too long. all right, so that's why we'll be having them in parts. So if we want to do for block work, we'll make it part 3, and if I see how it is, may add another item to it, and all just like that, until we get the best out of every of these items. all right, thank you very much. This is Chaka Quantics. Watch this video, it will add value to you both professionally and in your career. Expect more videos with amazing value, all right, with increased value index. That English is very good. all right, this is Chaka Quantics. I'll see you guys in the next video. Do well to watch this video, it will definitely add value to you. Thank you.